Do you like comedy, black history, and having a dope time? Then the critically acclaimed show, Drunk Black History, is for you. Sponsored by Aquiana Rum and Sorrel Liqueur, Drunk Black History returns for a Juneteenth celebration where prominent black historical figures will finally get their due through drunken anecdotes from booked guests. This show is destined to be educational and absolutely bonkers. The show is being held on Wednesday, June 19th at Littlefield in Brooklyn. Doors open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the show starts at 7 p.m. Be sure to get your tickets to this hilarious and educational show before they sell out. Tickets can be purchased at drunkblackhistory.com. Once again, that's drunkblackhistory.com. Learn, laugh, drink, and repeat.
For All Nerd Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/ForAllNerds.
You are now listening to Castle Black, the blackest House of Dragon podcast in all the realms.
Castle Black. So this is the seat of the Night's Watch.
And welcome, internets, to Castle Black, the blackest Game of Thrones podcast in all of the realms, powered by ForAllNerds, where we discuss everything in the world of Game of Thrones from the perspective of people of color. And I am one of your hosts, Tatiana King, aka Lord of Lightsabers, Lionel Strong, Missaria the Don, Mulatto Hightower. It was all a dream fire, and the Ting of the North. And if you're new here or if you are old here, whatever you need, you know these two people. First, we have Mr. Ben Ha of the Memes. Please just
Yes, that's right. It's your boy, DJ Ben a.k.a. Oh, it's been a minute, y'all, so let me get this right. Ben Ha of the Memes, Draco Yergarian, Sir Christian Cold as Ice, the Grand Maester of Munch, a man has no shame, bent off that Alicent, Mulatto Hightower, Jake from Drake Farm, Raina the Procrastinator, Aegon the Masturbator, Aemon the Colonizer, Sogon Targaryen, Dracarys Patronus, Splin the block on Castle Rock, catch these hands of the king, and who wants that see smoke?
Yo!
I fucked up a few of them, but you got it.
Who Wants That See Smoke's one of my favorites. I like that a lot. And would you say running the block on Castle Rock? Would you say?
Spin the block on Castle Rock.
Spin the block on Castle Rock.
Been off that Alicent, the Grand Maester of Munch.
Grand Maester of Munch is hilarious.
Say what?
The Grand Maester of Munch is hilarious.
I mean, my man was having a hungry chat meal this episode, but we'll get to that.
And we also have the Portia the Maester.
Hello, everyone. I am Portia, aka I dropped all of them just now.
Our Grand Maester of Castle Black. She is the person with the info when it comes to the books, when it comes to the canon. She's the person that we turn to whenever we want to know what actually was supposed to happen versus what we see on TV and what's about to happen, right? And I know you have some incredible AKAs. We're actually very happy that you're back for season 2 as well. I know everyone was super excited. We'll get back to your AKAs in a minute. But in the meantime...
I got them now. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Let's do it. Run it.
Okay. Portia, a.k.a. the Maester of Disguise, a.k.a. the Three-Eyed Ravenclaw, a.k.a. Lady Mary Jane of Highgarden.
That's
There
right.
we go.
That's
And
right.
there I am.
And we are back here, season 2 of House of the Dragon, or House of Dragons, as Black people love to call it. Listen, we miss y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for all the love and support and all the anticipation. We got a lot of notes and comments about people saying, yo, we're ready for y'all. We want y'all to come back. And we're more anticipating the podcast than this show. So that is a lot. It's very humbling. Thank you so much. As always, please make sure you are listening, watching us on ForAllNerds, ForAllNerds.com, ForAllNerds TV, and ForAllNerds on every social media platform, as well as every podcast platform. Again, this is Castle Black, and we're here to discuss episode 1 of season 2 of House of the Dragon, A Son for a Son.
I also want to reiterate that statement and say thank you to everybody. I know it's been a minute, But, please let everyone know, your friends, your family, all of them. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Castle Black, the blackest. You see all these beautiful black, brown, melanated faces talking about this white-ass show. House of Dragons.
A successful white-ass show.
Super
successful because season 3 has already been ordered.
Wait, what? I thought this was it.
The money don't
that
stop.
idea.
You crazy?
Oh.
Literally this week before the premiere of the actual episode, season 3, they announced it on Variety and a other bunch of places. Season 3 is on deck, my guy, and it might start filming real soon as well. So,
all right, well,
we had to wait 2 years also for this. So who knows how long we gotta wait for the next, but it's coming.
That Egg and Dunk is also coming, right? Portia?
There's a few prequels coming.
It's definitely
in
like
production.
I don't know if it's in post-production, but I know it's in production.
Yeah, it's in production. At
yeah.
least. Yeah, they're shooting all that shit.
Yeah, of course.
Egg and Dunk.
Listen, before we get to recap and reviewing, getting these jokes off about this episode, first things first, what house do you pledge your allegiance to? The blacks or the greens? Portia.
I recognize I wear both colors. However, the actual color that I rep is black because, there really is no like, are they both going to tear Westeros apart? Yes. Will Dragon Carnage be what we see for the next couple of scenes and next couple episodes for the rest of the duration of the show? Probably. Yes. And I'm always on the side of dragons, to be honest. I just want the dragons to be thriving, and I'm really sad about what's about to come up with all the dragon carnage and all that. But the cause that I would pledge to is the Rhaenyra's cause because it's basically patriarchy on the other side, and I don't know with that. Is there patriarchy in Rhaenyra? Yeah, but their cause is the guy. He's a boy, therefore he usurps the woman. Even though she's the older person who's supposed to take the reins of this dynasty, as her father, the man who last reigned, said she's supposed to take over, but we're gonna just dodge that because she's a woman.
Ben, you are making the faces of faces. How do you feel? Are you team green or black?
Obviously neither. I'm definitely down with the dragons, like Portia said. First and foremost, I'm always about the dragons.
Team Dragon.
Yeah, just like I was really Team Lannister, but also Team Dragon and Team White Walker in the previous incarnation.
Wait, you're the team of
not the white zombies.
I'm Team Oblivion to all these idiots. That's pretty much me. I'm Team anyone who doesn't play the game right, you got to go. That's how I've always been. Y'all know that. That's why I sided with the Lannisters, because I felt like they played the game right. And so far, I haven't found anybody who I can say is truly that well playing the game right. So I can't side with any of them other than the Dragons because they're obviously playing the game right. But I do disagree with Portia highly on the idea that team any of these niggas is better than the other. They're all victims of patriarchal thought, and they all fall victim to it and fall in love with it because the same argument that you just made about Lil Ray Ray can be made about Alicent. Alicent is clearly in charge of her dumbass son. If these niggas wouldn't stop fucking that up. So it's like, do you want Ray Ray, who is, as we have seen, with that bloodline and that blonde ass hair, a maniac, when it comes to getting anywhere? Or do you want Alicent, who's like, yo, I'm trying to run this shit if niggas wouldn't keep fucking me up? And if little Ray Ray over here wouldn't keep acting like a crazy ass and sending her son to get ate.
I wouldn't really make a big deal about the whole bloodline stuff because as we know in this world, everything is mad and incesty. It's a mess everywhere and every side, on both sides of the family. So I wouldn't even mention that whole bloodline
stuff. The Targaryens is about that burning light.
You're Targaryen. It's about we're consolidate power by incest.
Cooking.
Yeah.
And cooking niggas.
And cooking niggas. And the uncle husband shit is crazy.
Brother husband, because that's what's happening with Homegirl, with Helena and Aemon. So that's been a Targaryen.
That's why we even think about that. I'm team black because I do believe in Rhaenyra's cause. I do believe her to be the rightful queen, the rightful heir. It was said as such. Obviously, depending on where you sit in that point of view, and if you're the actual person in the show, we're the audience, we see all, right? We're the omniscient force that sees everything. These people have not seen or heard everything. But it just seems very obvious that she's supposed to be the rightful one. But, Allison has her thoughts of why she thinks she's right, and fine, whatever. Me, myself, personally, I fucks with Rhaenyra. I fucks with the dragons. She's the one for me. So that's my queen.
I like how
about
Allison's
dragons?
own son clocked her, like in this episode. Like he was like, she talks with two tongues, and I was like,
Aemon?
As she should, like dumbass Aemon. No, she should talk with one. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's a Game of Thrones, nigga. You gonna be out here just saying what you think? Like, I don't, niggas is like, oh, she's playing the game right. Oh, that's a problem now. She read the rule book
later, but yes,
read the
okay,
rule book,
sure. If that's how you want to see it, sure.
I mean,
It's a constant battle though, Ben, between people consciously playing the Game of Thrones and also just people following against their own, as Otto keeps saying, their own impulses and their own desires and things like that, which may not have a view of the big picture, right?
Yep.
It's just about what do I want in this moment?
Self-fulfillment,
revenge,
Rhaenyra.
all these things. And yes, obviously Rhaenyra, but all of them suffer it in some way, shape, or form at some point. But Rhaenyra is justified. Her fucking son got 8. You made a joke about it last year, Ben. I mean, when you said,
and I'm gonna make a mini joke
Luke
about
was
it this
looking
year.
like a snack.
Yes. I'm saying
got
Luke should have used the Force. Like, I'm saying all the jokes. Luke Skywalker shouldn't have been up in them skies.
Why not, man? No one could have predicted that. Even Aemon didn't predict that. But
the only thing is that people did say like
that?
He should have, like, the boy should have run off the building as soon as he saw Vhagar. He should have been like, I'm gonna just keep flying. I'm gonna fly back home real quick. Tell my mama that Vhagar's out there, and then
from my recollection, Luke's dragon like kind of didn't stop listening to him, and then Vhagar also stopped listening to Aemon, and then the dragon started.
But that's what people were saying. They're saying like, before he even like parked his dragon, he should have saw Vhagar and was like, nah, I'm gonna go home.
No, but you know what? He's also younger. He's not as that's you could say that maybe. You can also say that Luke just isn't experienced enough to have been like on the lookout for shit like that. If you're Ben, maybe you blame his mom for not teaching him how to be looking out for ops. I don't know.
Maybe you blame his mom for sending this nigga into the ops.
He didn't send him to the ops. Remember, she
trying to
sent
empower him.
both her sons to gain power from their allies. It had nothing to do with the Greens.
She sent him to the safest.
And she sent him to safe places.
Allegedly, is this a time of peace or a time of war?
This was in the middle. It was in the middle. It wasn't war yet. It was. I know in your head you're like it's always war.
There ain't no middle here. That's niggas who lose. This is a time of war, and you sent a boy to do a man's job, and expected or a woman's job, and expected that little nigga with his little dragon to not get 8.
Well, again, I think. Just
Should've
because
sent
you
a
have
raven,
foresight of what happened, I don't think you could have predicted that shit
niggas
was
got
gonna
ravens,
happen,
nigga. Like
you thought she should have thought that. Oh, my son might get 8 by Vhagar. I just think that's
that's not even the thing either. It's also that like she knew that in order to show that like she was trying to actually win them to the cause, she knew that Alicent's side was also going to do the similar thing and have in-person visits. It's got to be an in-person visit no matter what. It's just
no matter what. And having a dragon that. Regardless of how big, small, whatever, a dragon is also a dragon. Not these niggas do not have dragons. So to show that show of force in person and bring one of her heirs, those are her heirs. At the end of the day, if you're the queen and you sent one of your people, your own blood, that is important. That means you fucking care and matter about these people. If you're gonna just say fend the fucking raven, hey man, come support me at my block party. Like, nah, nigga, that's not enough.
Well, okay then. All right, but see again, then when your nigga gets 8. You gotta expect that. Like, this is how shit might go down. Like, it's not a place where things like this might not happen.
But again, in the concept of like, was this war or not? This is a parlay. This is supposed to be a time of like, if somebody enters a place, it's not supposed to be like when the battle lines are drawn. Yeah. When it's actually like, okay, we are actually at war. No white flags have been flown. That's one thing. Then we expect for death left, right, and center. when
know what
this
it
is a
Ben?
parlay, you're supposed to just be like, okay,
Correct.
like let people have their way in and out. There's no
Correct.
like
Ben,
stockade. There's nothing like that happening.
you expect, and I understand why, you expect treachery at all sides
Yes.
from the beginning. And that's
Yes.
why you think the way you think. And that makes sense. But to Portia's point, that's not what they was expected at that point in time.
My
At all.
man,
Now, yes, but
My
not
man-
at that point in time.
my man Blotto Hightower said it. Mistakes were made, fam. Mistakes were made.
Even though he was talking about
Like,
his own fucking family. But yes,
Yes,
mistakes were
because mistakes were made. Both people made mistakes right then. If you say, one, I need these people on my side, I'm going to send an in-person because someone else is sending an in-person with a dragon, and that person I know has the biggest, baddest, and I know that my own son cut this nigga's eye out. Like,
wait,
it's not
but
like these
how
niggas
she didn't
forgot.
know that
She didn't-
they
they
was going to
didn't know
send
who-
somebody.
they
And first
did-
of all,
they knew-
Eamon was flying around doing his own
And they
fucking
didn't know
thing.
when. And
That
they also
wasn't-
didn't know when.
Eamon
They were
was doing
trying
You
the
to
gotta
fucking
please the other
expect
person.
things to happen. Like, there's only a few dragons. There's only a few people who she's gonna send. It's not like there's a multitude of people, and all of these people have some type of beef with you. Shit could go down. If you're sending a person on a dragon, you already know, because you didn't send a raven. You already know shit could go down. I argued this last season. We can move past this. And you already know it could go down if you're sending a nigga on a dragon, because you're sending a nigga as a show of force. Like, nigga, we got a dragon. And they sent a bigger one. But more so, your dumbass reaction. Let's talk about this season and Ray's dumb reaction to her son getting 8.
Why was her reaction dumb?
Why was that done?
Quiet council waiting for her, sitting there like, yo, we got a plan, right? Amon, get him. Like, what, nigga? You are now at war. End of story. All right, we can talk where you were at war, peace before. You are now at war. You have a kingdom to protect. You cannot move on moves of vengeance for one person that then set off and got the wrong nigga because you over here crying in your room with Jake from Drake Farm.
Are we agreeable that two things can be true at the same time? That yes,
I mean, if you mace,
perhaps no, perhaps yes, and even Damon said as much. Like, while you're suffering and be going through this as a mother, you have queenly duties that are being shirked. That's true. Also, that's still her goddamn son.
Yes.
And that is still something that happened. And to your point, she should have known, but she didn't, Ben. And it happened, and that was shocking. And she is going to mourn. She just and Rhaenys even explained that to Damon, expressing it doesn't matter that I had to see the mortal remains of my dead son or daughter.
You have capable people you can delegate responsibility to. But instead, you came in on that vengeance shit, and look what it got you.
That's not fair to Rhaenyra at all. That is on Damon.
Shit. There ain't nothing fair
Damon
about
decided
this.
but Damon decided that he was going to do what he was going to do, commission an assassin, that weren't really assassins. If he was really about that life, he would have actually hired someone who's an actual trained assassin, not some randos who just like happen to be around King's Landing. That is not on Rhaenyra. That's what happened next. The thing that's the problem is that she really walked in there, and if she had been thinking, but again, everyone knows she's out of her mind with grief. She's not in a place where she's thinking. If she had been thinking, she would know that she was going to roll up into her council space. They were going to expect some counsel from her, so she needed to be in a different mindset at that time.
Right.
She didn't think. She just walked on in there. So if she had to just simply taken herself to bed, perhaps this would have been a little bit different. But she did not tell Damon to run over to King's Landing and find some randos.
Nigga,
that wasn't on her.
I mean,
well, she said, "I want Aemon," so that
but she didn't
means
say,
do something.
She didn't say get a rando from King's Landing.
But see, that's the next step. Which
to
Ben's point, you're not thinking. You just say stuff, especially if it's Damon. He's just gonna make it happen one way or another. Is it going to be smart? Not necessarily, but it's going to happen.
When the king speaks, everyone hears it. You have a responsibility to your words and your power. Like, you cannot just start saying, I want this nigga's head. Because then they're like, do whatever.
And she didn't say his head.
Yeah, but she wanted him. Do whatever. She didn't. That's what I'm saying. After that, leave it to your imagination. You got to be fucking specific,
She wasn't specific.
You are a god. You are making wishes. You have to be very specific.
Yes. Yes, and that and very nice parallel to what Otto was saying, that when a king and Rhaenyra being the king queen as well,
Yep.
just saying, when a king speaks, everyone hears it. Doesn't matter you talking to one person, everybody hears that shit from wide and far and will take it the way they interpret it.
Yep.
I like to call House of Dragons season 2 the worst game of telephone.
It always is, and that's, I mean, the worst game of telephone is what set this whole shit off. Because
This is true.
Ray and Alicent should be friends and should be battling all these niggas who are keeping them from the throne. But
I still contend that the main problem is that Viserys did not just keep his penis in his pants.
I mean,
like,
it's always men. I mean, you can always go to that.
That's what set it all off. Because if we had no other children, if Rhaenyra was the only choice, Otto Hightower might have tried to do something shifty and get out of there. But it still is. He would have had a harder time trying to accomplish it because it would have been harder to make a cause against her.
All right, see, this is my problem with this whole Ray shit. You know, it's like because you're putting the two women against each other because these niggas would have done what they do no matter what. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. It's like this nigga having more kids or not is not the problem. The problem is these two poor women couldn't get it together and figure it out, and now the world burns
But who's
because
standing
of it.
in their way?
Huh?
But who's standing in their way?
A bunch of niggas. But that's what I'm saying. Instead of being like, yo, fuck these niggas.
How can you say fuck these niggas? Just like Allison had a whole conversation about being undermined. If you don't, just like you said, it's about playing the game. Ben, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, y'all should have did this.
No,
but then
I know.
fuck these niggas.
I
Like,
know,
no,
what I'm
like,
saying
it's a
is-
game, right?
What I'm
So
saying
you
is
gotta be
that's the
smart.
tragedy of this show.
Okay.
But that's why I don't put either one of them as better, you know, or because especially in terms of playing the game, both of them have making, you know, tragically bad moves. So
Absolutely.
so siding with Ray, that's why it's like this whole, oh my God, Ray, and you know, my poor queen watching, no, she
It's my
sent
poor
her.
queen. I mean, at the end of the day,
I mean, that's your poor queen, but she sent her son to get 8.
Okay, Ben. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you on that. However,
Or the possibility was always there.
Sure.
And because of that, like we say, when you're a god dealing with people, you have to make the right moves. Mistakes were made. My man was like, yo, nigga. You know what I mean? Shit got out of hand. And that's how it can go down. Just like Drake.
But I love how
Cole.
it's minimized. Shit got out of hand. A whole
J.
fucking
Cole.
war is starting because of this.
J. Cole should have been like, yo, this nigga really don't fuck with you, son. Let me ease back for a second.
He
You know,
did.
figure this shit out.
He
Because,
did.
you know, no, she didn't do the J. Cole.
No.
You know what I mean? She sent a jab. You know?
Which
And
one
the
you talking
nigga
about?
said, not like us. You know
Who
what I
sent
mean?
the jab?
Yeah, which
Rhaenyra?
one?
Raina. Yeah. She sent her push-ups. You know, she was like, yo, we got dragons, nigga. Come get down with us.
Again, okay.
You can't have it both ways. Like you said, if she sent the dragon and the dude, that means that she knows
But she didn't
we
send
gotta
him
show
to
force.
Allison's front door to burn
It doesn't
up her
matter. It's
peonies.
to
She
the
sent
people.
it to go get
Force. To
Okay.
go get people ready for war. If you doing all this, you got to know what could go down.
But what she's banking on, what they're all banking on, is that the noble people who are being called up to pull their banners are all like feeling the like responsibility that if they don't host and make sure that like once the person, their envoy, is at their castle, that they don't make sure that person is safe within their castle.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Then they will be held accountable for the safety of the envoy. So that's also why the Storm Run, whatever, I forget the name of it, but the Baratheon place where this all happened, that's why they're like, they have no other choice but really to align with Hightowers right now.
Yep.
Because of the way that like that's all went down under their territory.
Yep.
And it was very funny whenever she flew down to see the remains and everybody was like booking it out of there. They're like, it's a dragon. We gotta go.
I'm glad they pulled out that wing like it was a starfish. Like it was like, oh, look at that. I'm like, nigga, that's the rest left over.
That's the
from
little
fucking chunk.
remnants. Yep.
Oh my god.
No, and I understand everything you're saying there, Portia, but I'm also like, I know she got a maester. I'm sure if she looked up in history, shit has gone down in the past. This is not like, you know what I mean? Shit goes down in these situations.
I do agree she should have been. You have to.
You got to be ultra vigilant.
The ops are always there, especially.
And then once you, like I said, if you sending a nigga on a dragon, that means you already know. Yo, we sending a nigga to let you know, get down or lay down. When you send a nigga with a dragon, it's get down or lay down. You know what I mean? That's what that was. So you already know what you're saying, not only to this family, but to whoever else to be out there.
What's sad is that like the other brother went to like he went to the Starks.
He went to the Starks.
He went to the Vale.
Yeah.
But that's also because he's older and his dragon is older, so his dragon's wingspan allows him to like he can travel that far. Like where the Baratheons are, it's not that far from like Dragonstone where they're based. And so she was really sending her boy where she thought like, okay, you and your dragon can survive that journey back and forth. It's not as long of a journey. Your dragon won't get tired. He can still protect you. And things went the way they went. Like
she was sending him from Brooklyn to Queens. She was sending him from Brooklyn to Queens. It was supposed to be a quick day trip, my nigga.
Always buckle up, folks. Most accidents happen when you're close to home.
5 miles from your home. Nigga, you are so rude as fuck. Oh my god.
All right, can we talk about the Star Soldier? That nigga was sexy as fuck.
But like, was that like I can't have been the only one to see like the overtones of how like this episode starting off with the Starks at the wall and the solemnity of it all was like very similar to like season 1, episode 1, and starting off with the like being by the wall and the danger of the wall and the looming threat of an upcoming war.
And I like the relationship with the first Game of Thrones series and how it's always a callback and always a connection there. That's it. I did read into Stark because when I saw Cregan, yes, he's sexy, but I did read it. I'd be like, yo, we're gonna get more of that. They were like, they're not gonna dwell much on the Stark this season. They said because it's not about them, it's about Rhaenyra and friends. So you might see him again, you might not, but ain't gonna be a lot of Stark shit. They said ain't gonna be a lot of Stark shit this year.
I was fucking with Cregan, boy. Right
I fucks with Cregan. I like his accent. I like everything about
him. That nigga had the big sword on the back. That nigga was like, yo, I'm ready to put it down.
I seen the dire wolf. I thought I saw a dire wolf or a regular wolf walk by at one point. I was like, all right, great. We back with the niggas that we know. And I love
nigga was
how,
like, this is a light summer, nigga. Get
did you see
ready.
How they chose who goes to the wall when he was telling the story of his ancestor? How like you just pull out the rocks. If you get the white rock, you good. If you get the black rock, you got to go to the wall. And he was like, it's not a sentence, it's an honor. I said, nigga, that's a sentence. I have to go to the wall for the rest of my life.
It is their duty as Stark. And I think it was very funny that, I think it was very deliberate that he had this conversation with this younger boy. This younger boy is coming, talking about war. Because it's like, you're over here coming to me about like a war that like you're trying to fight and like we're trying to build up a troops for. My whole family has been fighting a war, built a wall that dragons quake and fear from whenever they get near, because we know the real war is over here. You're talking to me about mortal things. I'm talking to you about ungodly things. This is what we've been doing before I was ever thought of. That's what the wall
keeps out death. That's some cold shit. He says, and because everybody want to play him, talk about, you keeping out the weather and wildlings. No, my nigga, I'm keeping out hell from you.
The entire kingdom of Westeros, not just like for the north, for everybody.
And that goes back to my point earlier. And actually, Tatiana, I think you said I was going to say this, and you're probably right. Is that it's always wartime, right? It's never a peacetime, right? And that's one of my favorite quotes I read recently. I'm not going to quote it exactly right, but it's talking about how if you're living in an empire and you're like chilling like us, enjoying the benefits of it right now, like we are in the American empire, you are part of that conquering force that's out there doing war all the time. You're just a different part of it. You know what I mean? So them niggas, like, that's why I say it's always wartime one. And that's what, like, I feel like nobody except, maybe like the foot nigga and these other niggas really get, or it's like, Varys and shit, is that it's always war. Death is always around the corner, and you cannot fuck around out here. You know what I mean? And that's like, that's why I blame Ray for everything that's happened after this, because not only did you send your son to get 8, your reaction after you sent your son to get 8, like that shit can't happen, is ridiculous. It's not befitting of a king or a queen.
Not to do this, but I do want to say the lady just had a child. Like she was like in labor as the boys were being sent as envoys. So perhaps her hormones are not all the way in a place of her like control right now. Like she's not in a place where she's just like, I'm gonna just compartmentalize my life right now.
Right. I think that notwithstanding, again, both things can be true at one time. yes, there has to be a greater sense of responsibility, understanding that you are always at war no matter what. In order to maintain an empire, it requires some fuck shit going down 24/7, 365. At the same time, Rhaenyra is a mother that lost her son, and she is dragon born, high born. It is what it is. The way she reacted, I do not fucking blame her whatsoever.
I do. And I feel like that's all a bunch of bull. Sorry, I'm not like I just don't want to put it on a woman's hormones. That feels wild to me. Like I'm going to put it on like yes, grief, etc. But you are not fit. Just the same way I say Damon is not fit because of his actions this episode. Like it doesn't matter, man, woman, or child. You ain't fit. Aegon ain't fit. You know what I mean? It don't matter. Like different reasons, but none of these people are fit because they aren't thinking logically. They are all moving emotionally.
Yeah,
and you cannot do that when you are a king or queen. It is you have to act like a god, dispassionate. You know, you can't see this shit as these are just pawns being moved around at this point. I don't care if it's your own kid.
You have to
don't move that pawn.
But you also have to be balanced in your logic, just like how they talked a lot about Viserys and his type of rule. They said, he was pliable at times, but my thing is that also gained you favor when and smartly, Aegon even kind of mimicked some of that when he was just like, well, the small folk is important to make the small folk happy because those are the people who are going to lift you up. Those are the backs you're standing on. So logic is important. Sometimes having an iron hand at certain things matter, but it also matters to have the soft skills too.
I don't say logic befits an iron hand. I say that logic is what Aegon was doing. Logically, yes, the Smiths need to be paid. Otherwise, this army falls apart. You know,
Correct.
Like that's what I'm saying. Logically, don't send your damn son out and don't think he couldn't get 8. Because then you're gonna have an emotional reaction.
Also, besides Cregan Stark,
you on the court, niggas get dunked on.
Is his name pronounced Jacaerys or Jacaerys Valerian, Luke's brother?
Jake from Drake Farm.
Jake, you call him Drake from State Farm.
Jake from Drake Farm.
I felt bad that he found out about Luke while he was doing his emissary type duties, like
he was
talking
popping big shit.
At least Cregan was being nice. Like Cregan was like pretty like he was like yo like it just his immediate reaction was like oh man like I got
he was
some bad news.
Did you know this news, my brother? he was like
like ooh.
That nigga was that Usher like ooh no I can't believe what no
Yikes.
But again like well Jake was out there talking big shit you know and then you know humility came through. I have no mercy.
It's not about no mercy. I think it's important that you have the advantage, as do I, as do Portia, of being the person on high that sees everything happening. We see the board from the sky. These people are in the board, on the board, in the fishbowl. There's going to be shit that niggas can't see.
No shit. You know what I mean? Anything can happen to me at any point.
Like, okay, even as much as I dislike Alicent and the rest of them, I still like get why they do certain things or why they say certain things. I'm like, all right, from your perspective, this is why. You're just like, fuck everybody.
No, I don't dislike. I dislike all of them. See what I'm saying? It ain't like I dislike Alicent or I dislike Ray. I dislike them all. You know what I mean? No one on this show has proven itself to me. I have not been like, yo, yes.
That's right.
You know?
From an
Number
even
one
further
hater.
back lens, how do you feel about the writing of these characters? Do you think it plays true to who they've been established to be?
Yeah,
it plays true.
Pretty exceptional so far. You know what I mean? They're all idiots. Like none of them have really shown themselves to be very smart.
When I say this is one of the times the Targaryens were wildin', that all like again, there was 2 different things that happened in history of Westeros where Varys was like, hey, we can't let these inbreds be running the country without some oversight. I gotta step in here. Me, Lord Varys, I'm gonna step in
over here
to take care of stuff behind the web because they're
not right in the head. What was the Mad King name?
Clear.
Which one? That one was Viserys at 11th. Like, which one was considered the Mad King?
Aegon, right? Ain't that coming up?
There's an
bunch
older Aegon.
Yeah.
Aegon is a cursed name, basically.
Yeah.
There's an older Aegon who like went crazy, had all of his different like women relatives put in a tower
Oh shit.
And but it was real bad. It was real bad. It's not a good name.
Okay. So
But
it's
who's
just
the one who burned all the
King
niggas?
Aerys.
Well, yeah, who's the one who was considered the
King
Mad
Aerys
King?
is Daenerys' father, the one who killed
Daenerys'
people,
father.
who killed the Stark in the armor, who fired them up, and that was King Aerys. That was Daenerys' father.
Okay.
So
All
we
right.
missed that.
Yeah, we didn't.
But that didn't happen yet.
We got no. That's
No.
I mean, that wasn't. I mean,
was
in this
Game of
timeline.
Thrones.
That was
in
Game of
House
Thrones,
Dragons.
and this
We
is
got clips
before.
of it. Yeah, this is before any of that happened.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
These are the ancestors of Daenerys.
Yes, the everything happening in House of Dragons right now happened a century
Pre-Daenerys.
or whatever before.
Yeah.
Who? How much? How long?
At least a century, if not 2
At
centuries.
least a century or more before the activities of Game of Thrones, guys.
yes.
Okay.
And so it was Daenerys' father who was the Mad King who was burning, who's known as who used that witch fire or whatever that shit was, the dragon fire on everybody.
Dragon fire.
Wildfire, no, the green one, the green.
Yeah.
wildfire.
Yeah.
Because there was no dragons then. Remember, all the dragons died because of what we're about to see right now. This is the beginning of the end for the dragons.
Dance
Yes.
of the dragons.
Yeah.
Listen, we gotta talk about Daemon. Still nigga.
Sucker for love.
That makes
Is it love?
Two things should be true.
Two things true. I love hate that nigga so much.
Sucker.
You think
I
he's a
love him
sucker?
too. I love like I think he's still nigga, and I
Yeah.
think he's a sucker for love. Like two things should be true.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's love.
I think that's why the nigga ends up killing all these women because he knows they are his terrible weakness. So he's just like, yo, I can't, I got to get rid of y'all.
Yeah, I think in between all the madness, he does have good points at times, but then also he's a very like he embodies the definition of dichotomy, right? Like
Yes.
one, he always makes good points at times, but then like in this episode, he literally has blamed everyone about the death of Luke. He blamed Massaria, he blamed Rhaenys, he blamed the other twin, the twin that decided to go with them. He blamed every goddamn person that came his way besides potentially himself or the nigga who actually used the dragon to eat Luke, even though it was an accident, it fucking happened. So
Nigga's Tupac.
what?
I just love that
No,
Rhaenys
I mean, straight up
got him
Tupac.
together. Like I love that Rhaenys was like, he was like, this is a demand. She's like, would that you were king. And I'm like, tell
Would.
him to his face that he ain't got no power. You thought you gonna
Would that phrase is so good. Would that you were.
would that you were king. Blue.
I love that old English
Would that you
read.
were.
The old English read is incredible.
Would that you were. I'm so glad you
She
brought
said,
that up, Portia.
bitch, I'm tired. She looked like, that old picture with the black lady that's sitting at the side of the bed and she tired as fuck. She trying to get up. That's what Rhaenys looked like to me.
She
in that
looked
moment.
like Shorty, that new picture when they was doing the
the
chicken
Popeyes
sandwiches.
That poor
lady.
lady.
She said,
She don't even want that photo on the internet.
Oh, I believe it. Damn, that's fucked up.
what the fuck did Daemon set off in this episode?
A lot.
He
What?
did not. What
violence.
thoughts went through his head? What was the actual thought process? Because it doesn't seem like he fully formed a good idea before he put it in. He just
What
was
did I
like,
say?
Not fully formed. Okay, you can take it back to the beginning.
Lot
You
of
said
dumbass niggas on the
Rhaenyra
show.
should have been specific, but whatever. She was
Oh
talking
no, that
out of
nigga's an idiot too.
No,
Yeah.
that too. But Rhaenyra should
Blame
have been
this nigga.
specific, but she was emotional. Okay, fine. Daemon takes that literally and takes it to the 10th level because this is Daemon, right? She says, I want Aemon. He goes, I'm going to go get Aemon with an asterisk, right? Like, and this is blood and cheese, these two guys, right? Portia, whoever this, I guess, guard is.
Dynamic duo.
Yeah, whoever
There's
this guard is, whoever this rat catcher is, that they're supposed to be these characters, blood and cheese. But
yeah, but there's like ongoing lore that may or may not happen. So
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe not. But the point is, he sets these niggas up. He first says to them, "Yeah, I need you to kill Aemon. He's the nigga with the one eye and the 613 bust down." First of all, that's all the description you give. Like, I just feel like when we talked about being specific, you should have been very specific about who you met. And then they say, "Well, what if we can't find him?" Why did he then decide? This is where the asterisks come in. Why did he then? Because he told them this. They didn't just go up there and come up with a bright idea to say a son for a son. He said. They asked him directly. They said, "What if we can't find Aemon?" And then the camera cuts away. You don't hear what they actually have what he says to them. he tells them a son for a son.
Yeah. I mean,
what is the? What's not? Why is that? That's
look,
not smart.
It is strategic. No, he was strategic in saying that. However, that what's funny, I think, is as us as viewers, is that we know what all these royal folk look like because they've been in our faces. We don't. The common people don't know nothing. That's why they had to
and that's why I'm like, one, he should have been more specific. But it wasn't like they
because you hire an actual assassin who will take the assignment seriously, scope the things out, and then figure out a plan. Get an actual assassin. Don't just get a rando from.
He got someone. He was like, he came up with the bag. He came up with his coins. He said, "Hey,
wait a minute, like Damon is living on Dragonstone, nigga. You know,
they living on Dragonstone.
The money is not rolling in.
So you're like, yo,
but they're
ransoms Essos for that. That Damon can't afford no Essos assassin. He just
that nigga. What's the desert niggas? That's Essos. Them niggas over in the desert.
Where the many-faced men are. Where they?
No. I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about them niggas out in the desert. The Sand Sisters or whatever.
Oh, that's Dorn.
Yeah, see, he can't even get Dorn niggas. Like, Essos is way out his league, right?
But my thing is, it's not even honestly, he's just doing the bare minimum. He literally, it's like you went outside, you said, you don't fuck with Trump.
That's
go get your hands on that nigga. Like, here's $50. Like,
it would be
that's what that was.
It would be like hiring the rapper who wrote that song, like F Trump or whatever. Like, it'd be like hiring that rapper to go assassinate Trump. Like, why would I heard
chances are it could happen. I mean, I'm sorry. It was
but that also speaks
that doesn't sound like, let me not say too much, but
no, don't say no too much. But see, that also speaks to the greater thread in this episode about rats. And rats being everywhere, and King's Landing being filled with rats and all this other stuff. There's holes everywhere, and there's people who do not fuck with depending on what side of the fence you sit, who usurp the throne. So,
but to be fair, rats also are significant of being very common, and the common folk honestly do not f with any of these royalties because they're at any given moment. And we saw as Aegon was sitting in the company or whatever to hearing the common folks' answers, they know that the crown is all about what the crown wants, and if it comes at the cost of the common folk, then they're at their leisure. They don't have any really recourse. As soon as that man was like, "Oh, you're not going to be getting any sheep," then they just turned that. They just pulled the man out of the line. There's it was like an Apollo show with the stick, but it was
they pulled him out with the cane. Sandman came out and pulled him the fuck. and
Steve Harvey was next up.
And Portia, you're absolutely right. Being common folk, you've seen line after line and bullshit after bullshit with these royals and all this other stuff, and you are considered collateral damage. Massaria has said as much. I'm just fodder. You don't really care about me. I'm just what value am I to you? What can you use me for in the moment for your own personal gain or the gain of your line or whatever the case may be, and then off to the next.
What game that woman has too.
But again, back to Damon. These randoms, you are a prince. You could have went anywhere.
All right, again, the nigga cannot afford that shit right now, and nigga is on a limited time schedule. You know, he got to do this before.
I think
he had to do this before Shorty woke up. You know what I mean? He was like,
"Yo." He put himself on that schedule. If he could have taken some time and deliberation, he could have found an affordable assassin. Because there'd be people from Essos wandering around. But there'd be
niggas is moving blockades. Niggas is doing this. We over here chasing after one nigga, and he already look. This nigga got sunned early in the episode when he wanted to do what he wanted to do. So he's like, "Yo, I got it." You know what I mean? I got to get right.
I gotta get my way. Is that what you? Because
no, he gotta get her way.
No,
again, her way was kill Aemon.
I would argue it's his way because Damon still twisted what she said. She said Rhaenyra was clear. She said, "I want Aemon."
Hey, nigga, please. If they had cut off Aemon's head, Alicent and crew are going ham. You just took out our best nigga.
That's literally what he did. He went to Blood and Cheese or whoever these niggas are and said.
But what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter. Once Rhaena says kill a nigga, wanton violence, as Alicent said she was trying to avoid, not really, but wanton violence. Once you start to that level, it doesn't matter which of these niggas. That's the thing. Yeah, it's horrifying to us because it's the baby, but and because we don't like Aemon.
Yeah.
But in the end, the reaction, the revenge that was coming from that side would have been the exact same.
Right. And first of all, I actually don't dislike Eamon. I don't mind Eamon.
Yeah, I love that nigga.
So,
I'm
but
tight that
two,
nigga
but
get his head cut off.
my whole comment wasn't even about whether this is going to happen anyway. It's about I said one thing and you did another, and therefore you did what you wanted to do. To me, when you said Damon is getting, he got punked and all this other stuff, now he has an opportunity to do what he wants to do, like he always does. He will always. You say, "Hey man, I need you to draw me a picture of a house." He goes out and buys a Ferrari. What does A have to do with B? Like, you understand? Like, that's what he moves, and that's what he did again and again, and it repeats it repeatedly and does it again this episode.
Drake over here releasing push-ups, and then the end result is not like us. What did that have to do with me? You know what I mean? Like, nigga, I was taking jabs, and you go over here and cut a baby's head off. Like, shit happens, B. You know what I mean? Like,
this is gonna make it just like the whole thing with Luke. This makes it a million times worse.
I mean, but that's
it's bad, but this not like this.
Either one would have been a million times worse. It don't matter how it went down; it would have been a million times worse. Like, that's the thing. You are now a war. That's why I fuck with Blotto. You know what I mean? My man Blotto up here just like,
what are
my God.
What are you combining his name with, by the way?
Blotto just means fucked up. So I'm Blotto Hightower. You know what I mean? Just like, I'm Blotto. Like, but Otto is out here. He living. Like, he just like, yo, god damn, niggas like, shit is trife.
I feel like he overestimates his ability to plan. Like,
I mean, that too. He's
can't-
got a lot of
I
dumb
can't get
niggas moving
down
on the
with
board. It's
people who
hard to
think
play
they're
with
like-
dumb
they're
niggas
like
moving around.
the puppet masters, but actually they're just like short-sighted. Like, he's very short-sighted.
He got
does not
no
see-
bishops, no knights. He just got a bunch of
see-
pawns.
Right.
It's tight on
You
Blotto.
don't even see how his own movements have affected the board already. He's so wrapped up in like, the politic. He's not wrapped up in the family dynamic, which is why the boys are the way they are in response to him, in response to Allison, in response to other people on the council. That's all because y'all don't know how to parent.
Did you believe him when he said that shit? When he was like, I didn't see that coming. I mean, or I didn't like.
I
didn't believe him for a
don't
second.
undermine me, and he said,
I
never
never
looked
saw
at it that way.
Yeah, nigga, what? No, I didn't believe him for a second.
He's never been a good parent. He was not a good parent to Allison. Allison, therefore, and then is not a good parent to her children.
Correct.
True.
He is still not even a good grandfather.
He's not.
At no point were those kids like, where were they supposed to learn to govern? You didn't want them to learn to govern because you wanted to govern them. So here, this whole time, you're seeing them as your opponents on the board that you can try to figure out and move, but they're not going to move that way because you're seeing them as pawns and they see themselves as bishops, as kings.
True,
and here we are.
Yeah, I do. At first, I was thinking that maybe he could be manipulated, but no. To Portia's point, I just think he legit did not see that because he don't think properly. He don't think in that way. He does not parent. He doesn't parent.
Short-sighted. Yeah.
Like, that's my thing. That's why I haven't sided with anyone. Even like Varys over here, eating feet. Like, nigga, like that.
Laris strong. L.
He was so distraught by the fact that he was not whenever Allison was looking around for someone to match her freak. She he was not. She did not look for him to match her freak. That's why
he can't match her freak.
Let's talk about him since you brought him up, Ben.
Yeah, and what a sucker! Like,
well,
but no. First off, let me because that's what I mean. Like, these niggas is not built for this. Like, you cannot be. Yeah, Laris, whatever, Larry. You cannot be out here trying to eat feet when the game is afoot.
Listen, the feet is the word. No,
Come on.
I didn't want to get that to you, but you're an idiot. But no, I know how you feeling, but you talk about the feet. That's just some side quest shit that
it ain't no side quest for that nigga. That nigga was pressed.
That's the main goal. He's doing everything he can to get the feet in power position to take over Allison's freaking whole thing. He's like, whatever I can do to control Allison and make her have to be with me, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can eat these feet.
So I can eat those toe crumbs. I want those sweet toe crumbs.
Because of his abilities and what control he has, he is one of the most powerful, if not the powerful piece on this board at this moment anyway. Because number one, he has packed that fucking court. That nigga has spies in every crevice of that fucking castle. Even right away, he was just like, oh, all the people I know is betraying us. They did. And so right away, Alice is like, fuck, he is boxing me in. You saw how she even trusted niggas washing her.
Before he even said that, he
Yep.
basically
say
was
it.
setting up for Allison to feel unsafe
Yep.
because he said to her, one of your handmaidens told me you were indisposed. And as soon as he said that, Allison's face, she looked off like, shoot.
Like,
One
this
of
nigga
my
got me.
handmaidens is under his employ. And then he was like, even better, none of your handmaidens are your handmaidens. Actually, I put everyone in there just now. I got rid of everybody who I didn't know was loyal to me. Not everyone who's in there is loyal to me. So everyone who surrounds you is loyal to me.
I own you, is what he said.
Like, you thought that because you don't have a husband anymore and that you're the queen mother, that you're suddenly going to be able to get around men being able to use your body the way we want to.
Yeah.
Let me
I'm
just
gonna
ease
eat
you of
them
that
feet.
idea.
And even though, Ben, you may be right that this is all supposed to culminate in him being able to get to them feats. The point is that he reminds her that he knows her tea. And he's put so much into motion from many, many times a long time ago. And the fact that he's already swaying Aegon to remove Otto as hand, that's the next piece. Like, he is moving strategic. If you want to talk about somebody playing the game, this nigga, feats be dead. Feats be damned.
His one
He's playing
game
the game.
is Allison. That's his game.
That's the problem, and and the thing is, he don't realize that Allison is not a pawn either, and has been playing this game, as long as she's been alive, and she knows his weaknesses and feats. So and she also got a Maester of Munch on her side. You might get to the hand, but the Maester of Munch is, as we have seen, a wild boy who will, go, another not like us nigga. You know what I mean? Another nigga who's don't press the red button when he just wanted to jab. Like,
Sir Kristen Cole is
Cold
still
advice.
a bitch.
Hey,
And he's
call him what he
still
want.
Allison's whore.
Living it.
Allison's whore. Yes, he may be living life, but he is Allison's whore.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to be.
He is twisted. Like, the way that he's internalized, like, Rhaenyra is a villain. She is the worst person who has ever lived. I can't stand her.
I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you dress.
Yes. Like,
he's such a simp ass nigga. Like, and honestly, because of this whole thing with Rhaenyra and he internalized it, when first of all, you're older, nigga, grow the fuck up. I think he hates women. At the end of the day, that's the way he moves. Even with Allison, I do legit, and a lot of these men do, right? That's just how a lot of the real world too works. You really don't like women at the end of the day. It's about what can this woman do for you and what do you want that she serve your purpose.
Yep.
I see you with Allison. I see two bad bitches.
Kendrick. Sir Kendrick Lamar.
I'm just waiting
giving.
to see what's happening after Juneteenth, to be honest, because I feel like there's going to be something after Juneteenth.
Oh,
or during
Lord,
Juneteenth,
right?
and I
Yeah,
just wanna
damn.
know.
This don't be before the red button gets pushed. Y'all, we have no idea what's going to happen in a few days. We'll be back next week for that. But, yeah.
But
no.
he's a simp ass nigga. He's a bitch nigga. And yes, Ben, you're right. Allison is actually also playing the game. She's been doing it. And what I find funny is she fucks on Cole every 5 minutes and says, "This is the last time.
Yeah.
We can't do this again." And then, literally in the same fucking day, she riding that nigga like a damn stallion. Like, come on.
Because she also know everybody else. So I'm going to keep this, murderer close.
By my side.
Yep. I'm going to keep this nigga who can easily deal with this foot nigga over here.
But
with
also,
no problem.
he buys. I think another reason why she is happy to keep him around, besides the benefits
munch?
of it or whatever, is the fact that she knows that he buys her whole persona that she's playing.
Yes.
Oh, I'm innocent. Oh, look, I'm at the behest of my father. Like,
He's an incel.
Yeah, he buys that. He buys her whole I'm a victim of circumstance. Like, Rhaenyra is the ultimate problem for me. It's never my fault. It's the fault of everyone around me. They're the problem.
And it's Rhaenyra's a problem. Rhaenyra's a problem for me too. Oh, poor shot.
This nigga's a munch. You know what I mean? But I will say, that nigga's living pretty good right now. That nigga went from about to jump on his own sword to up there, eating that good, drinking good.
Does he control the King's Guard? Is he the main?
Yeah, he's the commander. He's the high commander.
He's the high commander.
And he's out here, playing Monopoly with real coins. Like, this nigga living it up right now. Pouring drinks for his new son, over here.
What was that move? Was that a power move when he asked Allison to put his cape on? I wonder if that was a deliberate thing to basically try to show her her place to him or some shit like that.
I think Allison offered. She was like, "Can I help you or whatever?" And then,
no, he said, "Do you mind?" And he asked her.
Yeah,
and
because
she put it
was
on.
like, "You can leave," and then
She was like, "All right, get the fuck out,"
Yeah.
and he was just like putting his clothes on. He said he asked her first. I watched it again right before we recorded. He asked her.
Yep.
So I was just like, what was, could it just, again, he's just a simp, could be nothing,
No,
could be something.
He's
think
gonna
he's
always
a
try to
simp,
exert power. Like,
but he
that's gonna be a thing.
He's also been suckered already by a woman, so he ain't the ultimate simp. You know what I mean? And he also knows that like shit could go down, so he's making sure he stays in good graces. Like I think it's munching like
And it does.
Life
and it does if you
it.
think about it. He doesn't have any value anywhere else. Like remember he's trying to say to Rhaenyra, like, let's run away, let's go, I'll build a new life or whatever.
She laughed.
Right. Because he honestly has no value anywhere else in the world. Like he would have to go build that power.
Mm-hmm.
He already has a built power here. And so he's resentful of it because he's like, I can't live the life I want to live without being beholden to any of you people. Because I don't have all the skills or whatever to like make it on my own. I would have to start from the bottom, but I start from on top here, and he resents that. And I'm like, well, that's you.
I mean, he started from the bottom this episode too, but that's that fucking for rent, boy. Like fucking to keep a roof over your head, boy.
They both got OnlyFans.
That's that different type of fucking right there,
for sure. Let's talk about one of the sons, Aegon the Second Targaryen. Let's talk about this.
Aegon the Dragon Cock. Nigga said the untamable beast. I fuck with Aegon on the low, yo. That nigga's trash, but he's hilarious.
Didn't we start this episode? The first time we see him in this episode is whenever he is the in the council meeting, and he's like the whole time he's just like laughing at his son, playing with the Lannister,
just some stupid shit.
Yeah, but it's like it shows like how petty and immature he is, like to be the king.
But he didn't want to be it.
He never wanted to be it. Even Allison says, eventually this nigga's gonna get tired of it, and that's when we gonna do what we need to do. So he never wanted it, and it shows that even like his conversations, when he was drunk and all this other stuff. It's just like even when he was being announced, and he was like magnanimous. Why would you? He said, "What does that even mean?" And I looked it up. It means generous or forgiving, especially towards a rival or less powerful person. And no,
he might be that current. He might feel that way currently, but he's not about to because that same son that he was enjoying playing around during the council meetings, the same son whose baby head got knocked off. So.
Chopper style, chopper style.
No, Ben, Jesus Christ!
His magnanimity shall no longer exist.
I did get shades of Joffrey during the council meeting. Quick shades of Joffrey when he was just like, oh, I think my son, he wants a pony ride and using Thailand, right? And that quick like dash of just, immature, just bullshit. I was just like, and really violence in a way. I was just like, whoa, like now you're going a little off deep, and then he does something technically nice when he's, taking court with the commoners. So I just thought it was weird. Like again, maybe it's this inbred stuff, but there's something wrong with them mentally.
It's also just upbringing, right? Like again, he was not parented well, so I think it's nurture and nature are failed here.
And then it's also the idea like that we keep seeing, when a king speaks, everyone listens, and he's still not fully adjusted to that.
No.
So when he's like, my son wants a pony ride, he's not. I mean, he's expecting the nigga to do it, but it's also like, let me see if this nigga's really gonna do this shit. You know what I mean? It's like, is she really gonna stand on one leg and bark like a dog?
Y'all watch The Boys?
That is.
Like the new episodes of The Boys.
What about it? I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
There's the similar vibes where like Homelander is like he's like do this, and then he's like, I'm gonna see if they actually gonna do it. Like it's like a testing thing.
Yeah, it is
like a power test. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's still testing the limits of his power, and because like you said, he hasn't been raised right or any of that shit. It's like this is what you gonna get. But overall, like Aegon is not the absolute worst. I just think
it's not the worst, but
it's a circumstance of being in the worst place, and for someone like
he's annoying for me.
It's also it's like a ticking clock because
he's a monster too. Remember,
the more crap that happens to him that he can feel self-righteous about, the more he's gonna
correct.
Oh yeah, remember the nigga's also rape women, was watching little kids fight. This nigga's terrible. So, but again, it's a terrible world.
All of these people is terrible. Yeah. That leads us to Aemon Targaryen, who I said like I don't particularly have a dislike for, but also terrible in his own way. And I liked how they went back and forth between the dynamic between Aemon and Alicent, and how they both feel about each other. Because it was interesting on my second watch, I didn't realize it the first time. They both said that they're angry. Like when Allison was talking about Aemond, like she was explaining how everyone is. She said Aegon will get tired and Aemond is angry. And then literally when Aemond was talking to Sir Munch, he was like, Allison is angry. Like I'm like, okay, so this is this blame game going on, and this lack of wanting to see the other side. I think so. You know, what else are we going to see with that dynamic, and how much is that going to fuck shit up?
It's tough for Aemon to see the other side.
That's fucked up, Ben. I know why you said that, but okay.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna need you to stop yourself. I'm just sometimes I'm gonna need you to hold back.
My whole secret to podcasting, folks, is say what I normally would just think and not say. And so that's my secret to podcasting, is say whatever just comes to mind. First thought.
You know that reminded me of
No
your joke
editing
reminded me of
No
the whole
editing.
Professor X joke with Magneto where he said, what did
Me
you say?
chase a bitch. I can't even walk.
Why?
No, bro, please. Stop. God, stop, please.
Why?
Oh my God. Okay.
Woo!
Aim,
I told
listen,
you, we been on break, and we back, folks. The Castle Black, accept no imitations,
I'm
goddammit.
fucking sweating because this is so much. Listen, Aemon also, like Damon, has a few good points every now and again. And him, when he said she holds love for our enemy, and that makes her a fool. We talking about his mother and her feelings towards Rhaenyra. And he, in this wartime especially, he is 100% right. You cannot be moving like that with love and affection, because we just seen Allison, when she was doing the prayer, she sends one up for Luke. And I'm like, great,
But does
thanks.
she mean? I mean,
She meant it. She felt bad in the moment, but is she gonna feel? But my thing is, I don't even care about what people say. It's about what you do, right? But she felt bad in the moment. I don't know if she really cares in the grand scheme.
something about Allison, I just feel like she's always aware of her audience. And I wonder, like, because like there was something about how she was dressed in the same like visage of the mother, which is like part of the seven, the faith or whatever.
Okay, you're
so
right.
she's very aware of like what she's playing towards, like who may be in attendance,
Who's listening?
religious guidance, and everything else is coming from them. So you get to see someone from the royal family is taking the faith in like, good stead on a regular basis.
That's funny you say that, because I did think of that, because I think not that specifically, but I thought about the fact that knowing that she knows who her audience is, because remember, she also now knows very explicitly that Larys has everybody in every corner of that castle watching her, right? So for her to, and I don't know if she said it loud enough, but someone could potentially have heard her make those prayers, right? And then they can bring that back to whomever and say, oh, it could be another game. You're right.
Damn. Shorty can't even pray in peace.
I thought she really did. It's not hate.
Damn.
It's not hate. Force is
I
right. You gotta look at it that way
everyone
too.
that way.
Mhm.
Like who's playing, who's good at like. So what is Allison good
You gotta
at?
be right.
Because
Playing
to
the
be
game.
honest, what is Allison good at?
I did think that she legitimately felt bad in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
However, it could also be what you're saying.
She was also going for that boy's head. As soon as she saw her child walk up in there, one eyeless, she was like, "Oh, where's my dagger? Let's stabby stab.
Yes.
Let's go."
Yes.
So I don't believe her.
Oh,
I
no.
always believe that she's putting on a show for someone at any given time because that's what she's good at.
I mean, asking for that boy's eye was not putting on a show for anyone. That was how she felt. Like, no,
Yes.
fuck this nigga. He took my son's eye. Let's take one of his.
That was her real emotion.
Yeah.
Her
And
going
that's
to
what- yeah.
pray may have been for multiple different reasons.
Oh, yeah.
One of them, most likely, putting on a show.
For surely. I mean, assuredly. Like, you know what I mean? You need all them priests and stuff to be like, oh, look at her,
The
you know.
queen, she's
It's
so-
Trump,
she's so
Trump with the
saintly.
Bible, oh, she goes to church. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, fuck out of here. Like this woman's a monster like the rest, but she playing the game well.
Well,
I'm-
yeah, that's fucked up.
yeah, it is, but such
This is an interesting fan favorite character where Ben always just says she just be doing dumb shit too. Helena Targaryen.
Oh no,
She
I don't
has
think.
green dreams, and I'm gonna put that into one of my AKAs. Her green dream told her to watch out for them rats, and
What the
here
hell
comes
is
the
a
rat
green
catcher.
dream?
A green dream. So I forget their names, like the ones who were from Starklands, and they like were the ones who were kind of guiding Bran whenever he was having his dreams.
Oh,
They were
okay.
like telling
Yep,
the
yep,
brother
yep.
sister.
Mm-hmm.
They come from a place where like the children of the forest are still kind of around them, and so whenever children of forest like influence shows up in dreams, they call them green dreams because the children of the forest are represented by green, being part of the forest, blah 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 blah. So like different families throughout Westeros are known for being able to have green dreams. And it seems like Helena is one of a green seer of sorts.
Yeah,
She has
absolutely.
green dreams, and so it's usually like a prophecy, sight of the future, deja vu that will come up later. Like she's pretty good at, and it's usually in the form of insects, specifically for Helena. She's pretty good about like insects and small things being her.
And every time we've seen her, she's done that. She says some wild shit where everyone says, "Oh, you're a mystery," but then it's something that happens, right? The prophecy, and it's like the foreshadowing of the episodes too. So, and you see it over and over throughout the episode.
I'm just like, it's not helping her at all. You know, that's my problem. Like,
it's not that she's action oriented about it. She's not Raven Baxter.
No,
she's
like
seeing it and then like, okay, I'm gonna do everything I can to stop this from happening. She's just like,
but also how much does she really see? Like she's saying, like literally, she says, "I'm afraid," and then Aegon says, "Of what? You know, don't be afraid of dragons." She said, "I ain't afraid of that. I'm afraid of the rats." How much does she actually see? Does she actually see this shit coming to pass for Jaehaerys? Or does she just see imagery?
She sees like the imagery. She sees like
so she don't know what that means.
She hasn't interpreted it. Yeah.
Right. Nigga, that's like everybody I have bad dreams every night where it's like, what the fuck does that mean? You know, that ain't helping.
You call her the worst psychic ever.
Yeah, pretty much. Right up there with Destiny from X-Men. Like, you know, it's like Destiny's always like, oh, there's possible futures, you know. Thanks.
This could possibly happen on Tuesday.
No shit. Right, you know, rats.
At least Doctor Strange would tell you that one can work out. Like,
right.
One of them.
Like, give me some specifics.
Honestly, I think she was giving you that one can work out. I think that's her prediction too. It's like, my kids don't get chopped. You know,
she doesn't know, but she's like, rats has something to do with what's gonna tonight.
Yeah,
so happen tonight
at 10:52.
No, she ain't got all that. She just knows terrible shit is gonna happen to me, and
right.
You know, that's
rats are
yeah. And then honestly, like sometimes I forget where I am because the level of diabolical that goes on with this show, with the Game of Thrones series in general. I did not expect that with the son, Jaehaerys. I don't know if it was in the books. Maybe you could tell me, Portia. Just the way it went down, and like Ben Amin said the same thing, like the sound.
Yes.
The sound.
Sawing. They were sawing in the boy's bed.
When I say I was so disconnected to the level of diabolicalness, it's because when the scene happened and it was like, well, we're gonna take him. In my head, I'm thinking some light shit. I'm like, okay, they're gonna take him out of there and go kidnap him and do whatever the fuck. Not do their business right there in the room. And then even then when it was happening, it did not connect in my head what was happening. I was like, you know the meme of the dog sitting in the fire? He's like, everything's fine. That was me. I was the dog. I was just like, okay, you know, they're gonna do something.
This is fine.
This is fine. They're gonna do some regular mean shit, okay. And literally fucking Helena was running down the 10th flight when I was just like, wait a minute, like what is happening? And how old is the boy? Like 3?
No.
He's like 4, 5.
4? He's not that old. The twins were not old.
Like still in like.
He was in like barely talking, right?
Yeah.
That's like 2, 3.
That's like 2, 3. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think he was 3. I thought he was before
standing at the table. It might be 4 because of how
he looked kind of big, depending.
Right.
That nigga was tiny to me. I thought that nigga was like 2, 3 most.
Either way, it was a baby.
Horrific.
And it was horrific. And I know this show be doing some wild shit, but I just wasn't connected. And maybe because it's been 2 years, it just didn't connect with me.
No, like when he put the hand over the baby's mouth, you know, as soon as when he saw the baby, I was like, okay, he's gonna be like, I'm not killing a babe. Wrong. And then when that nigga put the hand over the baby's mouth, I was like, oh, okay. And that's when I started tuning out. And then the sound, and my
ears just
I
started
rewatched it again, and I damn sure cut that shit off as soon as they moved into the room. Like when he was like, "Oh, that's the queen," I was like, "All right."
Portia, was
end of episode.
Did Jaehaerys get beheaded in the books? Like what happened?
Yeah, this all.
Oh yeah, I know that happened.
Oh my god,
happened. This is not so like this is so the whole like blood and cheese thing that keeps getting so like. Again, there's a more lore that comes with it, and I don't know how much the show's going to put in or not. So but for the most part, this goes about the way that it's spelled out in the books. Helena is, as much as she's like disconnected from the world currently, where she is next, like her headspace. Like, imagine hearing that and you're the mother. Imagine knowing that you pointed out the child they were looking for and you're the mother. And you like she got out of the room with her other kid, sure, but like she in her head, how's she gonna reconcile the fact that she had like told these people which child to kill? She had to give them an answer. She gave them an answer instead of like herself. They didn't kill her. She got out of there with her kid, and boom. But it also foreshadows what we know of like Daenerys' time, because what was supposed to happen to Daenerys was the same thing. Like when the Lannisters stormed King's Landing, they went straight to her mother's. Well, no, they went to Rhaegar's room where Rhaegar's wife was, and knocked those, like, there was an infant, knocked its head into the wall, and like really just like murdered those kids. And then that's why they thought Daenerys and Viserys were dead, because they thought they were able to capture them as well. It wasn't until later they figured out, because like I think they had like some proxy children, which kids were murdered in their stead.
Lots of murdering children. I don't like it.
That's an ongoing. It's like this is a prelude to what's going to happen later in Daenerys' time or whatever. So like murder, like it's in the same room, like in the same space.
Wow. And I think it's also another weird piece of Helena is there's a disconnect here. Like, yes, you said that she has to reconcile the fact that she gave up her child, but even when she runs into Alicent's room, she says they killed the boy. She doesn't say they killed just Jaehaerys or my son. She says the boy.
Again, I think she sees it as one timeline, and she knows everything, or not knows, but just knows, like, this kid was not long for this world. Probably from the moment he was born. You know, like, it's just, it is what it is with her. Because there's a lot of matter-of-fact shit with her, where it's just like, I'm consigned to this life. You know, it's a resigned to this life, is her shit. Throughout
she's also highly traumatic. Like, she just had a knife to her throat. She just gave the information under duress. She just ran down the stairs. Like, she's like her. But
she's always like this.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but her having a thought process where she's like, "Oh, my son was just killed." Like her, she's heavily dissociated. She's not.
She's dissociated, yeah.
But she's heavily dissociated constantly.
In general,
like that's what I mean. That's like she lives a dissociated life. Like this is her style, because that's what it is. I feel like she sees shit and it's one timeline. Like, as we know, things in this world are going along one way. You know what I mean? Like, we already know what's happening after this. So everything that happens after this, you know, things have to lead up to it. So there's only one path for them to go. So if she can see any future at all, she sees my son is going to die, or the boy is going to die. You know, like, and she sees everything else that's going to happen to her and her family.
I don't know that her visions are that clear. Again,
it don't have to be that clear.
Yeah,
it can be, this boy is not long for this world in some way, shape, or form, and there's probably rats involved, cheese and blood. and that's I mean, if you know that your whole life, or the boy's whole life, you're gonna dissociate. And if you know a lot of things in that general nature, because that's how she seems to react. Whenever she sees someone, she's like, "Oh, guess what fucked up shit's gonna happen to you." You know what I mean? It's just like,
she's always just like, "I see you dying in the fire."
There's a character. I don't know if you ever read Dragonlance, Portia. Oh, okay, Dragonlance is a Dungeons and Dragons offshoot world. It takes place on the world of Kryn, and it's like, you know, it's a whole world, you know, to itself. And there's this one character, Raceland, who's a wizard who gets cursed with eyes that no matter who he sees them as they are decrepit and old and dying and everything, shit like that. So this nigga's like that, you know, whenever he sees people, it's like he can't see joy, he can't see any of that shit, you know, so he is a fuck person. And so I feel like that's the same type of person that she is, where it's just like, shit's real out here. Niggas die every day, B.
We didn't mention Lord Corlys Velaryon. And they also
about to die every day.
Oh my god. They also introduced another character named Alan, who apparently is the guy who saved him. I guess during the battle, he pulled him out the water. So they have a conversation. Alan don't want no parts. Alan's like one of the common folk that's like, look, all that shit y'all doing, please keep that to y'all. You know, keep doing what y'all doing. I'm just doing my job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I could tell that Alan don't want to be a part of it, because even when Corlys calls him back, he's like, hey yo, he's like, fuck, they're gonna drag me into this shit again. You could tell. And again, Portia, I really like that you mentioned that because it's so true. These people are caught up in the bullshit of these houses.
Alan does not want to go to the Diddy parties.
You don't want to go. You got to say no to Diddy.
You
But
know
also,
what I mean?
like-
that really, I'm sorry, that felt like Corliss was playing the Diddy role right there to me. Like, that really felt shades
like-
of Diddy.
He was like, I'm
Wait.
indebted to you. And
Yeah.
Alan was like, fuck.
Fuck, man. Shit. I seen what happened to Shine, nigga. Like,
Now I gotta tell my peoples
Now,
to
Shine
keep
made
an
it
eye
out.
out for this for nobility to come around, step around our
that's a
corner.
10-year out. You know what I mean? Like, he made it out all right, but you know what I mean? Shit.
Did we talk about everybody that need to be talked about?
The
Can we get more
maid.
of these jokes
So
off?
I wanted to talking about small folk. I want to talk about the maid who, whenever
Oh yeah. her.
she sees like cheese, no, she sees blood. Like she sees him, like she walks into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he walks into the room, and she looks over at him, and she's like,
She's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's
yeah,
like, oh,
she
I'm
doesn't
setting
say
traps.
anything. She just looks at him like,
Yeah.
excuse me, and he's like, I'm here for rat catching, and he
Right,
pulls out
right,
the
right.
stuff or whatever, and she's like, and then she has like,
She's one of the spies, for sure.
but she was also in the room when Helena had her vision, and she said, the rats. I'm scared of the rats.
She was
So as soon as she heard him say that, she was like, oh, word. Like, I gotta
Word.
go. I gotta get out of here.
Word, homie. I feel you.
She ghosted so quick. As soon as that man looked up and looked down in the hallway, she was nowhere to be seen. Okay? There, she's talking about crevices in the castle. She must have found one real quick because
She ain't trying to become fodder.
Straight up, dog. Like,
Hell no.
she knows, she already knows how quick, like death is around the corner, fam. And she's like, I ain't trying to see it.
Hell no. And we see a lot of dragons in this episode. And to your point earlier, Portia, we're gonna see a lot more. This is with the Dance of Dragons. This is the big situation. And there are a lot of dragons also unaccounted for.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make sure that we don't lose sight of that because I know that I don't know the specifics, but I know there's one particular dragon that is going to be this rider out of nowhere that's going to take it. And I don't know whose side that person's on or what, but.
So there's like dragon hatchlings, I believe, that are currently like in the dragon pit.
Yeah.
There is the son who faked his death, Valerian, who was Rhaenyra's former husband. His dragon is unclaimed, is roaming about somewhere. Unclaimed.
Is Dreamfire claimed yet?
Isn't that Dreamfire?
Maybe that is Dream. It says
Isn't
Dreamfire.
that- I think that is Dreamfire. I could be off.
Yeah, I think that's Dreamfire.
I think that's Dreamfire.
Okay.
It's roaming about. No one's claimed it. It's being a dragon.
What about that big one that Damon let loose last season?
Damon's going to try for it. Vermithor. He finds Vermithor. So Vermithor hasn't bonded with no one specifically yet, but
but Damon has a dragon. I think he's going to
Damon has Caraxes, but Damon finds Vermithor under
He's going to
Dragonstone.
He's going to try to find a rider for Vermithor. That's what Damon's side quest is to find a rider for that dragon.
Should we say, because I'm reading this, when we talked about Dreamfire, they say a specific name of who's supposed to eventually ride Dreamfire.
No, I don't say that shit. I don't
I'm like, that's what I'm saying. I don't say stuff because I don't know where the show's gonna go. Because sometimes they keep stuff true to the story, and sometimes they don't.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. You said Vermithor was the big nigga. Then there's like hatchlings, like you said. There's Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke is unaccounted for. So that was Laenor. If y'all remember, Rhaenyra's gay husband.
That's what I was saying.
Faked his death.
Okay, maybe that's not Dreamfire. So Laenor.
That was Sea Smoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is Sea Smoke?
Roman.
Chilling.
Roman the countryside.
Playing the J. Cole role.
That's why the
Riding his
small folk
bike.
are so ready to run because they can't see the dragon riders
Fishing.
on the dragons. They can only see the dragons.
But I thought Laenor let Sea Smoke, live, and he went and hid in the summer isle somewhere, just hiding that he's alive. So
Laenor probably. I mean, Sea Smoke was like, "All right, cool then, nigga." Like, because these niggas over here is, pushing red buttons over here, nigga. Like,
I don't know.
You want some of this, old man?
Oh.
No.
So what we about to get into episode 2, y'all.
Death and destruction. Wanton violence.
Wanton.
Straight up. She was like, but it doesn't have to be wanted. My man was like,
She does not be wanted. And here
He
comes
did
Atlanta.
that.
They killed the boy.
he did that battle rapper like.
He did like,
Oh no.
it's gonna get
Doesn't
worse
have to be.
before it gets better. It's just way worse.
What's better? Define what better is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Under the
I don't know.
When that nigga said define what
the
victory
castles
is.
and the villages not being actively on fire. That's the better.
Oh, that's no. Oh, absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely.
That's the better. Right
But
now,
that's not gonna
it's
happen.
a bad time, but it's the better. Everything's not on fire.
Well, that's not gonna happen. This season is not gonna be about the better then.
That reminds me just
we're in
of-
the burning and looting stages.
the burning. That reminds me of the new intro sequence, and I love it. I think it's cool how they did. It's like a tapestry of, and it, to me, and correct me, Portia. It seems like when you first turn on this episode, you see this tapestry, and I think it's like the story of the Dance of the Dragon. So you see shit on fire, you see whole armies laying down in blood, and then you see imagery of like Aegon versus Rhaenyra. Like, is that what that whole situation was? And is that supposed to like also show us what's about to happen?
Probably.
Why isn't it
We can Easter egg our way through
Rhaenyra
it.
versus Alicent then?
There is a portion.
Never,
It wasn't really about them. They're talking
yes,
about the
never about
throne.
them.
So right now, from a throne perspective, is Aegon and Rhaenyra. But there is
True,
a
indeed.
quick piece of the
tower.
tapestry where you do see Alicent just in her princess dress or whatever, and then it's a line that gets drawn, and I'm guessing that's Rhaenyra. Like they're just saying that they're on
Nice.
opposite ends. But the side by side two thrones battling is Aegon and Rhaenyra.
Got it.
Yeah. So
Whew. All right. I
Is
think
that
we
it?
done here. Yeah, I think, man. I don't know what else we could say.
listen, this shit is wild. I just did again. Why? How could I forget? But my God, today. Thank y'all so much for listening, for watching, for enjoying, for yelling at the screen with us. We appreciate and salute you. This is Castle Black, the blackest Game of Thrones podcast in all of the realms. Make sure you are subscribed to us on your favorite podcast network. Everywhere we're there. Look for All Nerds, and that's how you find us. Like Ben Amin said in the beginning, please, please, please spread the word. Tell your friends. Have listen parties while you listen to us. Watch the show. Listen to us. Like whatever y'all want to do, make it something, okay? We appreciate it. Make sure you're also, if you like what you hear, please support us by going to Patreon, patreon.com/ForAllNerds. We are an independently funded situation. So we do everything on our own, everything from the recording to the production, everything you can think of, that's what we do. Also, go to ForAllNerds.com where you can get cool merch and tees like this Gucci Mandalorian tee. We have a lot of other incredible designs and more on the way. Please make sure you are following us on socials, For All Nerds, as well as Castle Black Pod. You can find me, Tatiana King, on socials, Ben Amin, DJ Ben Hameen. Portia, what's yours?
At Portia Knows.
Portia knows. What else? Ben Amin, you got some amazing things happening for you right now. Do you want to mention?
I do, but before I get to that, I also want to mention we will be, for the foreseeable future, I think, as long as we're getting these episodes ahead of time and are able to review them and release them, we will be releasing these episodes at 10 p.m. on Sunday, immediately after Game of Thrones. And if I'm not working or doing some other shit that night, I'll do a little Twitch stream and maybe talk to y'all before we play the episode. So twitch.tv/ForAllNerds. Tune in at 10 p.m. Eastern, 10:10. Let's say 10:10.
Let's say 10:10 to be safe.
Yeah, because these shows run a little long, et cetera. So 10:10 Eastern. We will play the episode right then. You can get the review right after the episode. You don't have to wait on it till Wednesday or wherever. It will be live. And if you miss the live stream, of course, it'll be on YouTube and all the podcast platforms immediately after that. So, right there, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. By 11 o'clock, it'll be in your ear hole and your eye holes ready for you. Also, yeah, like you said, I got a lot of things going on. Like I mentioned, we are back on Twitch. I've been setting up things. I bought a new lens that was whack today. I bought a wide angle shit. That shit ain't working, so I got to buy another one. But anyway, I'm going to do some DJ streams, twitch.tv/DJ Ben Amin. Also, YouTube/DJ Ben Amin. You'll be able to find my DJ streams up there very soon. BitDJEnergy.com, where you can get all my music and these streams, all that other stuff, as well as order yourself a copy of Hendrix, which, Lord have mercy, Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze is coming out in less than 2 months now. By the time you hear this,
first graphic novel, along with
my brother Mellow Brown, and Tom Mandrake, first graphic novel out, art by Tom Mandrake,
The God.
Cameron voice, the God Tom Mandrake. So yeah, that is coming in less than 2 months. We will be at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm trying to get my shit together. I need a place to stay and all this other shit, but we're working it out. So we'll be there. biddjenergy.com. We are almost sold out of the signed copies at Anyone Comics. I mean, like literally almost sold out. So
I got mine.
yeah, like that shit sold out, and we had to extend our we wanted some more books for the actual in-store signing, but we put some more out there. So go to biddjenergy.com and you can get one of the last signed copies that I'll be doing there, and then I'll be doing signings everywhere else that I can be. At San Diego, we're doing some signings. It looks like Janie Hendricks herself might be there. So if you're at San Diego Comic-Con, come through. It's gonna be some shit, and the book is, you know.
It's
some
silly,
shit.
as Ben Amin would say. It's silly. Portia, do you have any projects or other shows or things that you're working on, or podcasts and all that?
I have one other podcast. If you want to hear people talk about Black fantasy books, because I like to read, then join us over on #WizardTeam. We are good. We're reading through. There's a series called Legendborn. We're on book 2 called Bloodmarked. Starting off at the end of this month, June, you'll be seeing some new episodes from us.
What was the name of the show once more?
#WizardTeam.
Nice.
Wonderful.
#WizardTeam. Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I want to shout out this company that I'm wearing today. This is a Free Palestine shirt by the company Lou Eddy 1980. Make sure y'all check them out. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta back up, son.
There we go.
Gotta get your
right there. Lou Eddy 1980. They make a lot of dope designs, and all of their, they have different designs, but they have a whole Free Palestine section, and all the proceeds go to various organizations helping the Free Palestine. So make sure you check them out. Really fuck with that company, Lou Eddy 1980. Got a couple. I'm gonna get some more. I love it.
Absolutely. Free Palestine.